quad panels by the baker's dozen. Buy 12 and the 13th is free. Add in all our discounts and you save up to $7,500. Now, add in your 30% federal tax credit. What do you say, boys? Hoorah! A SunPower Elite dealer, A+ rated by the BBB. It all means we get the job done with esprit de corps and honor. Call now before the month ends. 888-316-1079. 888-316-1079. Or visit SemperSolaris.com. CSLB number 978-152. Some restrictions apply. Max savings based on purchase of 36 panels. 30% tax credit if eligible. New customers only. Expires 8/31/17.
From AM 1680, The Answer, this is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. And now, here's your host, Lance Cardoza.
Hello, everybody. It's August 15th. We're halfway through the month. Where has it gone? We have a great show, Business Leaders Live, for you. On the phone right now, my good buddy, Council Member Paul Caprillo, District 4. We have a big announcement. It's happening today. There's a ribbon cutting at 11 a.m. And Paul, are you there?
Yes, I am. Good morning, Lance.
How you been? I know you've been traveling and you're back home and you're ready to hit the road running.
That's right. And today is a great day at 11 o'clock this morning at 1322 East Shaw Avenue at 6th Street. We're going to have a new milestone in the journey of our community. And what does that mean? Well, what was once known as Sin City will become the Safe City again with the opening of the new satellite station at that location. It's so exciting. We've been working on this for so long. We have so many partners that I want to thank. They put this thing together. And today it comes to that moment where we're going to cut that ribbon.
Now, this is the police substation that's going in there near Fresno State area, correct?
Exactly. It's just on the same street and just a few hundred yards from the original substation that was there several years ago. And that was closed, so we've been working very hard to open this up to benefit that community as well as the Fresno State students that are in the area.
Well, I know we appreciate everything our city council does to keep our city safe and always focusing on that. When I saw that come across this morning, that there was going to be a ribbon cutting, I always like to celebrate what our police department does to help our community be safe and also work with our youth to make sure that our youth understand that our officers are there to serve and protect. And we appreciate you as a city council member taking those tough decisions to make our city better, and we appreciate that. And good luck to you at 11 o'clock. I'll be out there at the ribbon cutting.
Looking forward to seeing you, Lance. Thanks for having me on.
Hey, no problem. We'll see you then. Welcome home.
Thank you, sir.
In studio right now with Business Leaders Live, we're talking about what makes our city tick, what makes our valley tick. And the movers and shakers, as you heard there in the intro with Skip Essick, that's what this show is all about. And when I have movers and shakers come to the studio that excite me, like the two today, Jake Soberall, Irma Olguin Jr., Bitwise Industries, people have heard about it, they talk about it, and others that haven't go, what is it? What is Bitwise?
Oh, gosh. Well, first of all, thanks for having us on. Bitwise Industries is a lot of things. We sometimes go into the motto of the mothership of technological education, collaboration, and innovation in Fresno. Above all else, though, I think what we want to be at Bitwise is a place where if you are interested in something related to the technology industry, an exciting environment, a job, learning how to code, connecting with somebody else who likes video games, whatever it is, or being in community around these exciting things, we want Bitwise to be a place that you can come, you can feel belonging, you could feel as though you're a part of something that is unequivocally world-class in downtown Fresno.
And it's happening. I tell people all the time, this is not just I tour people through the building. As you know, I have an office there, and I like to show people what's happening downtown because it's if the heart is healthy, the body is healthy. And downtown Fresno, you guys truly are the heartbeat of what's happening downtown. And you see so many companies in there that you would see in San Diego, what's happening in Portland and Austin. And I see it happening in downtown, and it truly, I think, is going to affect the valley as a whole on technology. Jake, you're giving us sort of an overview. Now, Irma, you're co-CEOs, and she's sitting right here. You guys both left. You were an export. So you left, you went to school, and then you had the need to come back, be close to family. What was it that made you want to come back, and you love Fresno so much you wanted to do this at home?
We did, and I think that they're similar stories, and they're both fun, right? I tease sometimes. So I gave the graduation speech at Clovis High School, and I remember standing there, sort of an 18-year-old with it all figured out, and thinking, these folks really, really ought to enjoy this because I'll never be back here again.
Yeah.
And went away. And my mother figured out. I started at Hofstra University on Long Island. My mother once figured out that there were 13 universities in the United States that were further away than Hofstra. So I tried to get pretty far away from the Central Valley. And wound up down in North Carolina, back in L.A. I did undergraduate law school, and through all of that, at each stop, I found myself kind of looking for, I think unconsciously, for elements of what I wanted for my future, for my career, for my family, whatever that might look like, and never quite felt settled. And my story in coming back was summer after my first year of law school, accepted an externship at the Court of Appeal here in Fresno, which was meant to be a gold star on my resume, bounce off and head back to a more exciting place. Got back here, though, and the justices there at that Court of Appeal, who are just great leaders in our community, started taking me to lunch. And at first, it's like, this is great, free lunch. But what became evident later on is that it was a recruiting trip. It was. I want to introduce you to the people and faces that make this place special. And all at once, I fell in love with this city because of the people in it. And so it kind of came rushing into view that I've seen everything that everyone labels exciting in this country, and certainly it's exciting, those places. But this place, Fresno, is where I want to be. It's where I want to bring whatever value I have to add over my whatever it is 40-year career. Yeah. I want to bring it back here, mostly because I just care deeply about the place and the people in it. And so I suppose that is the boomerang story, and Irma is definitely one too.
So with it, all it takes is food. So it's food, a free lunch. That's it. You got the student hooked. That's how we're going to get them to come back home. Irma, I know down there at Bitwise, it's a fun environment, and we talk about you guys have food for your clients down there. There's I know you do Beerwise on Thursdays, which is incredible as a business, and you see this social activity, not only just businesses doing what they're doing. It's a family social activity that I see going on at the building.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that a lot of what draws people to the place in the first place is when they believe that they have found their tribe, right? And so a lot of the activity that you see in the building is a tribe acting together and supporting one another and challenging each other and sort of just moving to the next step of their lives in support of one another.
Wow. And so your story, very similar to Jake's. You go away, family is here.
A lot less thought out, honestly. I would say,
it was more than a free lunch.
It was less than almost.
I
was your typical, 24-year-old in crisis and didn't know what I was doing with my life or what I wanted to be when I grew up. And my family, while I was away at school, experienced some pretty severe crisis. And so when school was over, it was really clear that I should just come home and figure it out. And it took a while for that to happen, right? So it wasn't like an overnight situation, but being home was where I needed to be.
Yeah, and that's what brought me home too.
Yeah.
And it's always something family brings you back, and you look at it, and then you want to create a better life for yourself and your family here.
Yeah, I think so. I think everybody would love to be able to say, "Oh, I had it all figured out. It was a plan. I came back so I could do great things." And that's not at all what was the case. That'd be great.
And I know you guys are very forward-thinking. Big stuff is coming. And there's later in the segments of this show, this hour, that we'll be talking about some of those things. But with that, as you forward-think and you're dreaming, it's not always success. It's trials and tribulations through that process. And we want to talk about some of those. Those are challenges in the growth and future growth. And sometimes everybody thinks, oh, it's going great for them. Everything's perfect. There's challenges every day, and everybody's dealing with that. And that's part of business growth, and I think that's a part of the anatomy of a successful business person. So what do you do when times are hard? What do you do when you come home and your focus is off your career, but it's your family? And at that point, you make that healthy, and then you're able to do bigger and better things for yourself. So how do you guys meet in the process? So you come back to the area. Did you know each other before you left, or did you get together on common ground?
Our backgrounds are super different from one another.
We literally grew up on opposite sides of Fresno County. And
could not be more separate.
That is about the caricature of us. So when I came back to town, I began practicing law. No intention of entrepreneurship or anything of the sort. I was going to be an attorney, a judge, a mayor, a governor, and president, and get home in time for dinner.
Yeah.
I started down that path, but I was practicing intellectual property law. It was an area that I sort of fell in love with. And that meant here in the Valley working with entrepreneurs. And so I very quickly heard about this gal named Irma Olguin and said, I want to represent her company, so how do I get involved with everything she's involved with? And so target number one was 59 Days of Code, a nonprofit here, which I happened to also fall in love with the mission. And I said, I start serving there and say, I want to help. I want to help you lead. How do we get this bigger? And that was the original meeting place for us. And I think it all grew out of there.
Just creating a connection. You wanted a connection, whether you saw her doing big things and wanted to be.
Well, I wanted to represent her companies, and when I tell the story, right, I won because I certainly did get to represent her companies. Yeah. When she tells the story, she won because
Which one of us is an attorney right now?
Yeah, now I work for Irma. So, that was our meeting place, and we like to say, because 59 Days of Code is, as some people know, is this annual event is one of its components where it brings together folks in the technology industry, trying to nudge them to that next step. And we are really proud of saying often that we are a startup that was founded out of 59 Days of Code because that was our meeting place.
And we'll get into that. We're going to go to a break real quick, and we'll get the other side of the story from Irma. She could tell her side of the story, how that all went down. And we'll talk a little bit about what is 59 Days of Code, so people get it out there in the world of non-technology that are always curious what's happening with Bitwise Industries, and talk about more about the company Bitwise Industries. I have Jake Soberall, Irma Olguin Jr. in studio. You're listening to Business Leaders Live every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. and online at my1680.com. You can catch the show every Tuesday at 9 a.m. It's Business Leaders Live with Lance Cardoza. We'll be right back.
Professional boxing at the Valdez Hall next to Cellulite Arena, Saturday, September 23rd. The main event featuring Fresno's own Mike Ruiz Jr., ranked 13th by the NABF and NABO, versus Jonathan Torres from Guadalajara, Jalisco, plus 5 more exciting boxing matches. It's all or nothing. Saturday, September 23rd at the Valdez Hall. Doors open at 6 and matches start at 7. Stay tuned to 1680 The Answer for ticket information.
Dad, I am totally lost in my math. My teacher goes way over my head. How will I ever pass this class?
I've always been a concerned parent, and I hated to see my daughter struggle with her math. I worried that her poor math skills would hurt her future. It wasn't that she didn't try, but she kept falling further behind. Then we got help with Math Made Easy. Concepts are simplified in a step-by-step approach, and students learn at their own pace. Within weeks, my daughter's grades improved, and she regained her confidence. Math Made Easy has all levels, from arithmetic and fractions to algebra, even calculus. Best of all, it's affordable for everyone. Listen, end the frustration. I'd like you to call now for a 30-day risk-free trial. 1-800-USA-MATH. That's 1-800-872-6284. Call now, 1-800-872-6284. 1-800-USA-MATH. Or visit us at mathmadeeasy.com.
What happens when your desire to heal turns into a nursing degree? Your passion to teach inspires the next generation. Your business savvy grows more than the bottom line. Your heart for helping leads to a degree in social work. What happens when your calling becomes your career? Just about anything. At Fresno Pacific University, we're making every possibility possible with our evening degree completion programs designed for busy adults. Learn more at fpu.edu.
Want the inside scoop on an area? Locals always know. Want an inside advantage in your job search? Then you rely on a staffing local. We're Spherion, a 65-year workforce leader with a distinct local focus. Just last year, we helped 160,000 individuals find exciting careers. I'm Glenna Gates, and my team knows the Central Valley area well. More than a business, this is our home, and we have connections to the area's most respected companies. Gain a local career advantage and call Spherion at 559-251-4040 or visit us on the web at spherion.com.
It's time for The Legal Edge, a look at your rights as a Christian, a parent, and a citizen. And now, with a look at what's happening on the legal front, the president of the Pacific Justice Institute, Brad Dacus.
San Francisco's Planning Commission recently gave conditional permission for a medical marijuana dispensary to set up shop within a district near where children congregate. Now, this is in violation of state and federal law. PGI has filed an appeal and is working to protect the children in this area from being exposed. It is important, folks, to stay vigilant and aware of what your city is doing, no matter what state you live in. If you see something happening in your community that violates the innocence and protection of children, speak up. I'm Brad Dacus.
To find out more about The Legal Edge, call 916-857-6900 or log on at pacificjustice.org.
This is Hugh Hewitt for Larry Holiday and the Holiday Diaz team at RBC Wealth Management. When thinking about retirement, most of us have questions such as how many years before I can retire? How much money do I need to retire? How will I pay for my later years in life? At RBC Wealth Management, they can help answer those questions and design a customized plan to meet your specific financial goals. If you have any questions about retirement, call Larry Holiday at RBC Wealth Management, 559-447-8213, 559-447-8213.
RBC Wealth Management is a division of RBC Capital Markets, LLC, member NYSE, FINRA. Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Hello, everybody. I like to always talk about downtown. Downtown Fresno is near and dear to my heart, and also to these two in the studio. I call them like they're the Pied Pipers of downtown Fresno. They're bringing people in downtown that are believing in what the future is, not only in downtown, but the future of our valley and Fresno, and the possibility of big technology happening in the valley. Jake Soberall, Irma Olguin Jr. are in the studios, Bitwise Industries. Before we went to break, we were talking about, Jake, your side of the story, how you met Irma. And before we get to Irma, you were sharing during the commercial break how that first meeting. You were an intellectual property attorney, and you want to meet with this person that's doing some big things in technology.
Yeah, well, my initial entry point into 59 Days of Code was actually Travis Sheridan, who was a great community leader in
Former
Fresno.
40 under 40.
Yeah, and I said, Travis, you got to get me introduced to this gal named Irma. And they were really good friends, and so I knew that he could. And so he set up a dinner at the Elbow Room, and I don't know if she knew why the heck I wanted to meet, but we got together and we got to talking, and it was a good connection from the start. But I tease sometimes that the moment that Irma fell in love with me was when I was sort of describing why I was really passionate about intellectual property, and it was, there's tons of opportunity to work with the IP portfolio of large companies. But what really fired me up was the idea that intellectual property gave you the opportunity to work with a lot of startups and sort of grow your own clients. Yeah. And I think that was one of the initial connection points for us that really just highlighted our sort of shared heart for that crowd.
And you can be creative. You can be creative and be involved in creative.
Right.
Yeah. Love it. Irma, is that pretty true?
It's close.
It's close.
It's really close. I mean, I was impressed, but I mean, who isn't, right? When you meet Jake, you're impressed and you want to get to know him and figure out like how he works. And I think his view of the world was not exactly like mine, but there was definitely some alignment there. And I thought to myself, this would be a terrible waste of human talent if he ends up being an attorney for the rest of his life.
So you're thinking I could save him.
So how do we talk him out of that, right? But it's a kind of a glamorous life, I think, for somebody who's dedicated himself to going to school and excelling at his job or his chosen profession, and to walk into somebody's life and say, well, maybe stop doing that. That was an actual thought of mine, was how do we get him to not do this anymore and instead focus his attention on the city. Yeah. And on what could what is possible with the city that we both live in.
So you both had passion. You had a passion, and together you created something incredible. It took a team of people. And like you say, Travis Sheridan, it took a team of people along the way. Yeah. Travis now in St. Louis, I believe?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Big stuff in St. Louis, and I see him on Facebook all the time celebrating what he's doing, traveling all over the place. But big things are happening back at home, and I know Travis comes back and visits from time to time. And every time he comes, he sees something new that you guys are doing. And there's some big announcements of a new project that's developing, but a new one getting ready to open here soon?
Yeah, so we began in the Mural District, which was at San Joaquin and El, north end of downtown Fresno, for those of you that are familiar with the Ironbird Lofts, pretty close to that. Then our second project, our sort of flagship, Bitwise South Stadium, is kind of the epicenter today. It's at 700 Van Ness, 50,000 feet. About 67 technology companies. When we opened, it was great. It was a higher number than that. But then we got so big, we had to very quickly start a third project at Hotel Virginia, which is on Kern, just to the east of Van Ness in downtown, about a block and a half away from Bitwise South Stadium. And today in construction is what we're calling Bitwise 41. Most people know it as the old spaghetti factory. It sits right there on 41. It's that building. If you're driving south along 41, you feel like you can, as you come around the bend in downtown Fresno just before 99, you feel like you can reach out and hit it. And so we are in process there. That building will be home to about 18 technology companies, and it'll open in mid-2018. So it's the next one in line. Right after that is Bitwise at State Center Warehouse, which is 2 doors up along our street, 100,000 feet. Of really one of the most beautiful brick buildings in downtown Fresno. And so you're going to have that row of buildings along our street that connect to the rehabilitated SBA building.
Yeah.
And it'll really, really be a nice bookend to on the eastern edge of our downtown.
Beautiful, beautiful stuff. And for someone that's never walked into Bitwise South Stadium, we talk about it and we assume everybody's seen it. And every day I see somebody new who walks in, and you know it's the first time they've been in this building. Their mouth is wide open. They're looking at the coffee shop, the restaurant as they walk in. Beautiful colors, incredible conference rooms. And then they walk in the theater. A lot of people don't realize there's a theater there. And I believe, Irma, that was a vision of yours when you walked in and you saw this old car ramp. Because it used to be the old Buick Cadillac Oldsmobile dealership back in the day, right?
That's right, yeah. And Jake is actually mildly annoyed by the story. He calls me one day.
I just saw the arms fold.
And turn away from the microphone. He calls me one day and he says, so, Irma, I think I found our next building. You should come down and take a look at it. And he was already in love with what is now Bitwise South Stadium. And walk into the building, and I'm like, man, this place is a disaster. What do you mean? You know, it's old carpet. It hasn't been occupied in 30 years. There's this stairwell in the middle of the floor that obviously is going to kill somebody one day. It was awful. And I was like, what is this guy thinking? You know, there's no vision for this place whatsoever. And so he walks me around, and he's very excited. He's pointing at the dust and the cement and the missing roof, and it wasn't until I think we got to the car ramp when I actually too fell in love with the spot, and it was the sticking point for him. He was thinking that we'll never be able to lease this space out, right? There's this big giant vertical ramp in the middle of everything, and
2 levels, right? So you could park cars up above and the showroom below, so the big monstrosity.
That's right. You could get from the basement to the ground floor to the second floor using a single ramp. But in my head, I saw a stadium seating theater, and we get to see how that has panned out. But Jake was when he tells the story, he's annoyed that I was right, and I feel
typical
that's
attorney.
Yeah. That's accurate.
That's accurate.
That's accurate.
It's beautiful when people walk in for the very first time.
It really is special, and there are people that deserve great credit. The folks at Henderson, now our IT Architecture, did a fantastic job in imagining that space with us. But it was Irma's idea, and from the jump, she was actually only off by about 25 seats. She goes, "This is going to be a 200-seat stadium seating theater."
Wow.
It's like 178. So the really neat things that you see happening and coming together now are. So Friday night we had, and all credit goes to Talisha Brantley from our team. A concert, Gypsy Jazz Show, Eva Scow there in the theater, sold out 200 people in downtown Fresno on a Friday evening in August. And it was just kind of one of these moments where you say, you know, there isn't there'd be neat to have these sorts of venues and these sorts of events in Fresno. It was, we are presently sitting at this sort of event in Fresno.
Yeah.
And in a one-of-a-kind theater, in a one-of-a-kind place, listening to really, really wonderful music. And so it was a neat moment. Yes, I am annoyed with Irma.
And it's not. That's what's amazing about the place too. It's not always about business. There, people want to be there. They want to work. They want to create. There's fun events like this. There's all sorts of different things to get involved with down there. Geekwise Academy, when we come back, that's in the building. There's a gym in the building, a tenant lounge that's incredible with a pool table. I mean, I describe it as it's almost like a mini Google when you walk through the place. There's an environment of safety, and at the same time, you have this camaraderie with everybody that you want to do more. We're going to be right back with Business Leaders Live. I'm talking to Jake and Irma with Bitwise Industries. A lot of big things around the corner, not only for downtown Fresno, for technology in the Valley.
In the future, your home's energy footprint is going to be much smaller than it is today. Energy efficiency and green building programs combined with government incentives and private ingenuity will reduce your energy consumption anywhere from 20 to 40%. Green is good, and it will save you money.
Our family at Donald P. Dick, your locally owned and operated heating and air conditioning company, and proud to be the People's Choice Award winner for the 9th straight year, reminds you to go green and save. Call today for a free estimate.
Donald P. Dick is introducing a whole house approach. Air and duct sealing, attic insulation, hot water pipe installation. Ideas designed to drive the cost of energy down. Plus, your home could qualify for valuable energy rebates. Call Mr. Cool, Donald P. Dick Heating and Air at 255-1644. They'll show you how to save money by saving energy. For 3 generations in Fresno, it's been Donald P. Dick Heating and Air. Call 255-1644 and let Mr. Cool show you how to drive down the cost of home energy.
This is Christy Burkhart, Executive Director of Pregnancy Care Center. After more than 30 years of ministry, Pregnancy Care Center has developed 3 key ways to impact those that we serve to choose life when faced with an unexpected pregnancy. Number 1, we are here for her first and foremost. While the client is sitting in front of us, it is essential that we see her. She is valuable and uniquely created in God's image, and our job is to show her compassion and respect. In doing so, that value and respect for life is much more easily transferred from her to the life of her child. In serving and honoring our client, caring for her, no matter the circumstances, babies' lives are spared. Number 2, helping the guy step up and equipping him to support her so that together they can choose life. Through male advocacy and pregnancy options education, he is better equipped to respond in such a way that his view is heard and she feels supported. What better help and hope does she have in this unexpected crisis than for her man to step up and lead the way? Number 3, Pregnancy Care Center strives to build a culture of life in our community through education. Education regarding healthy relationships, fetal development, and the sanctity of human life. We accomplish this in and out of our counseling rooms. We recognize that education not only in an unexpected pregnancy, but prior to one, can help women and families be held back from the devastation of abortion. Our community outreach efforts provide these resources to young people to demonstrate their value and equip them to wait until marriage for intimacy. Thank you for partnering with Pregnancy Care Center to build a culture of life in our community. For more information or how to get actively involved, find us at ministry.pregnancycarecenter.com. That's ministry.pregnancycarecenter.com.
This is Dr. Jim Cece, Senior Pastor Teacher at Campus Bible Church of Fresno. We're blessed in the San Joaquin Valley to have so many fine Bible teaching churches. However, if you do not have a church home and you're looking for a place where the Word of God is central, why not try out Campus Bible Church? We're pleased to announce that we now meet in 2 locations with a variety of weekend worship services and ministry for all ages. One location is on Maple Avenue, a half a mile south of Fresno State University. The other is on Palm Avenue, just 1 block north of Shields. For more information, you can go online to campusbiblechurch.com or call the church office at 291-9116. I also want to personally invite you to listen to The Ambassador's Call, our radio teaching ministry, every Saturday morning at 7 a.m. and Sundays at 12 noon here on this station. Again, this is Dr. Jim Cece, praying that you will, in the words of the Apostle Paul, glorify God in your body today.
You are listening to Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza, the behind-the-scenes story of the business shakers and movers in the Valley and beyond. Once again, here's Lance Cardoza.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us every week here Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. for Business Leaders Live. AM 1680, The Answer. This is the place of business leaders, and we bring them in every Tuesday morning. Today, I have truly a double duo here as co-CEOs, and that was just announced, 8 months ago, Jake and Irma?
Yeah.
With Bitwise. Mm-hmm. And you guys really do operate as co-CEOs, and I know I'm going to have people say, how'd you get them both together? Because you guys are busy. And you both are spending an hour here, and I know you're probably panicking because you got things to do. But thank you for being on the program. We're talking about Bitwise South Stadium, the future of Bitwise Industries, what's happening downtown Fresno in a big way. But right now, what's happening just in that building, we touched a little bit on GeekWise Academy. And GeekWise Academy down in the basement of the Bitwise South Stadium. There's a gym down there, also Fortress of Fitness, I believe is the name. Incredible tenant lounge. It's an amazing building. Talk to me a little bit about GeekWise Academy. Was a part of when you started in the north part of the triangle of downtown Fresno. And talk to me a little bit about that.
Man, so yeah, actually GeekWise Academy was born out of frustration, honestly.
Yeah.
So I had a couple of friends who were running technology companies. I myself was running a technology company, and we were all having difficulty hiring. This is a problem throughout the United States and really the world these days, having trouble finding that talent. And so we said, well, what if we got a room and we just very quickly, without any BS, just taught them how to code? Like what would happen if we just did that? Really direct instruction from people in the industry who do this type of work every day, attempting to impart their knowledge to people who want to do this with their time every day. And so that was sort of the genesis of GeekWise Academy. We started with some night classes, and it was Jake's idea to make them 6 weeks long. I remember this conversation vividly. I was really frustrated with them. He said, "Can you teach people to code in 6 weeks?" And I said, "No."
Yeah, I started at 3. I mean, we started at 3, so it was really a compromise.
Conceded, yeah.
I said, I can teach them to spell HTML in 6 weeks. And he said, well, we're going to have to make it 6 weeks. So figure out how to make that work. And so our flagship product, if you will, with GeekWise Academy are those 6-week night classes. It's 2 nights a week, 3 hours each night. And in the very first class, you learn how to build a website. There's a second class, then you learn how to build mobile, responsive websites, and on until you get to these higher level skills where then we sort of hope that you'll take a job with us or one of the technology companies in the area one day. But that was our very first go at it, and that out of that grew
sort of you're incubating talent.
Yeah. We set out very deliberately to create an army of developer talent. That would the resulting effect would be a new workforce in Fresno. Yeah. If we were at all good at it, it would be a workforce that was in an industry that was high growth, high wage jobs. In that, of course, you can draw a straight line to how you change the narrative of the city itself, right? And so that was really kind of education, and this is true of a lot of industries, is the answer to how you fix a city.
And you attract other technology-based businesses, right, to the area. Are you seeing that now, to where maybe Silicon Valley, they can bring a workforce in to Fresno and run a technology company here because the knowledge-based worker is being developed?
Definitely. We are about today 30% imported companies, so folks who have moved here, and 70% homegrown. And that really is by virtue of just not having any more space. We could flip that script because of the demand that's been built from outside of the area. The really exciting thing is that when a company moves here, they're on about that same blend in that they only bring about 30% of the workforce they're going to want, and then the 70% is hired here. And so they don't relocate in their entire division to Fresno. They relocate a couple of high-level folks who are then going to staff. GeekWise Academy is many times the evidence that they're going to be able to find the talent they need, not just today, but for the future of their company on the technology side.
Wow. So then with GeekWise, I notice also, too, there's a relationship with the local education institutions that you're bringing in some of those students, because you're probably on the cutting edge as you're developing all the time. You're teaching the cutting edge technology. And Irma, I'm sure that changes consistently. It's always something new.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we sort of pride ourselves in, is that we teach just what is in demand right now. So if there is a technology company in the area that needs technology X, we teach technology X. And that's a bit different. Schools in general, with the system that they need to work within, it's very difficult to stand up new topics very fast. That's what we do best.
Beautiful. I know with your future plans, everybody talks about, how can I get involved? I want to get on the ground floor of this. What is happening with Fresno? What is this? And I have a lot of time baby boomers that are business people, very successful in Fresno, are curious about it. And they walk in the building and then they're just the eyes wide open. Tell me more. What's happening here? And to be able to get involved with that, is there opportunities with future and what's happening with Bitwise, I'm sure you have plans for even bigger and better than where you are in your 5-year plan. What's happening?
Yeah, so the first piece of that is can I be involved? And our hope is that Bitwise Industries is something that everybody in our city can be involved in some way. At a minimum, we'd like them to feel as though they're welcomed. You're invited. From there, I think it is we underestimate the importance of, hey, I heard these two knuckleheads on the radio this morning saying positive things about our city. It sounded exciting. Having that conversation instead of parking, homelessness, some other negative thing. From there, come down for lunch. Grab a sandwich. We have one of the best sandwich shops in Fresno, and I think the best coffee in Fresno there in our lobby. So just come hang out. It will be a place like you've never seen before in Fresno. And then as you sort of wade in further, you want to learn to code, there's a role for you. You want to interact with or recruit technologists, there is a role for you. You want to invest in startups, there's a role for you. You want to start your own company, there's a role for you. You want to invest in real estate, there's a role for you. You want to buy the building next door and do something even better than what we're doing, there's a role for you. You're interested in downtown beautification, you're interested in green spaces, you're interested in on and on and on. It is a big tent, and we are in the beginning stages of that story, so it is a really, really neat moment to become involved.
And Jake, and I don't want to embarrass you before we go to break here real quick, but I remember as way back, and you were in a city council meeting, and I don't know if you were looking for approval for permits or talking about what you were going to be doing for the future, and someone had popped off and said, well, that's not going to make me come downtown or whatever it was. And you're smiling. You knew what it was. And I don't know if I can quote you verbatim, but you described, I'm not trying to get you to come downtown. What I'm trying to do is get people that get it to come downtown Fresno. And it's probably not in your words, but we come back, you can answer to that. But the people that are getting it are down here at Bitwise. They're down here in downtown Fresno. Big things are happening. When we come back, Jake and Irma with Bitwise Industries.
Hello, television viewers in the San Joaquin Valley. Remember the good old days of live TV when anything could happen? Remember the best music of yesteryear like Count Basie, Tommy Dorsey, and Harry James? Remember those old-time TV programs like The Jack Benny Show, Burns and Allen, and The Bob Cummings Show? Mix it all up with live in-studio guests and taking phone calls from viewers just like you. What do you have? You have a show like no other in the country each week on KGMC Channel 43.5, Antenna TV, and Comcast Cable Channel 378. Tune your television sets at 7 p.m. every Saturday night for 6 hours of entertainment on the Flying Home with Ronnie Paul show. It's Flying Home with Ronnie Paul each Saturday night from 7 p.m. till 1 a.m. on KGMC Channel 43.5 and Comcast Cable 378.
Serrano's Furniture is the proud sponsor of The Fighter's Voice, Central Valley's only boxing and MMA one-hour weekly talk show featuring local, amateur, and professional boxers with interviews of Hall of Fame guests. Get your weekly news and updates in the boxing and martial arts world with your host from thefightersvoice.com, Richard Ortiz, here at KGED 1680 AM The Answer. Remember, every fighter has a voice.
The Fighter's Voice with Richard Ortiz, Saturday afternoon 5 to 6 and Sunday 3 to 4 p.m. on AM 1680 The Answer.
This is Dennis Miller. Did you know that 5 times more hires are made through Indeed.com than any other job site, according to independent research? Imagine a lottery that had 5 times more winners, or a Sunday with 5 times more touchdowns. When you're hiring, it makes 5 times more sense to use Indeed. Right now, Indeed is giving new users a $50 credit to post a sponsored job on the world's #1 job site. Claim your $50 credit at Indeed.com/credit. Terms, conditions, and quality standards apply.
Dad, I am totally lost in my math. My teacher goes way over my head. How will I ever pass this class?
I've always been a concerned parent, and I hated to see my daughter struggle with her math. I worried that her poor math skills would hurt her future. It wasn't that she didn't try, but she kept falling further behind. Then we got help with Math Made Easy. Concepts are simplified in a step-by-step approach, and students learn at their own pace. Within weeks, my daughter's grades improved, and she regained her confidence. Math Made Easy has all levels, from arithmetic and fractions to algebra, even calculus. Best of all, it's affordable for everyone. Listen, end the frustration. I'd like you to call now for a 30-day risk-free trial. 1-800-USA-MATH. That's 1-800-872-6284. Call now, 1-800-872-6284. 1-800-USA-MATH. Or visit us at mathmadeeasy.com.
This is Don Escus, CEO of the Fresno Rescue Mission, letting you know that we're still here. While our downtown facility is making way for high-speed rail, we remain open 24/7. But rest assured, we will never miss a beat. Our services and programs will continue to function, never closing for even one day. That's why we need your help.
The Fresno Rescue Mission is dedicated in helping hurting and homeless people in our community. From meals to 24-hour emergency services to long-term programs, the Fresno Rescue Mission is committed to helping individuals escape their current situation.
We want you to know that 100% of your tax-deductible donations will continue to support the services we provide to the community. And at no time will the precious donations we receive be used in this reconstruction process.
To learn more about the life-changing programs and services the mission offers, call 268-0839. That's 268-0839. Or go online to fresnorm.org.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
Hello, everybody. We have in studio Jake and Irma, Bitwise Industries, and we've been talking about downtown Fresno, technology, the future of Fresno, and what's happening with Bitwise Industries. Both of these co-CEOs were former 40 Under 40 with BusinessStreetOnline.com, 40 Under 40 classes, and you were in different classes throughout the years, and we're over a decade of celebrating classes of 40 Under 40 individuals that have reached success in business or on their way with success and are very involved with their community, as you two are, and changing the face of not only downtown Fresno but Fresno in general. If you have someone that you want to recognize for the class of 2017 40 Under 40, you go to the website 40.com and you nominate right there just by clicking nominate, and you can look at past classes of the Business Street's 40 Under 40. We were talking about if you don't get it, and you were in a meeting where someone was a boomer and they were talking about not wanting to come downtown. What are you going to do to get me to come downtown? And you want to get the people that get it.
Yeah, and this was years ago now, and it was, we were just early on in Bitwise, and the pushback, which is not unexpected, right? And this person certainly was not alone. It was, I presented in whatever meeting it was the vision for Bitwise, and the pushback was, that's not going to bring me downtown. And in that moment, it was just kind of snap right back of, I'm not trying to get you to come downtown. It's not that I don't want that person downtown. I want that person to feel a part of what we're doing. But the truth of the matter is that person was a baby boomer probably in that generation. We're talking today, and increasingly less so, but today still, we're talking about early movers in downtown. And we need to look at the way that's worked in other cities. And it is 20-somethings with disposable income that come downtown, spend way too much on coffee, are inspired by the grit and social justice opportunities, want to live in a small place that charges too much. That is what fixes downtowns. And it's when those folks get to the spot where they drink so much of that $8 latte that it winds up on the front page of the Fresno Bee that then mom and dad come down. They want to try it.
Yeah,
and then they see
what this is all about.
Yeah, then they see there's a theater next door. There's a jazz concert tonight. This is not so bad. And that's the way it works. Now, what's been interesting in this last 4 years we've been running at Bitwise is in that time period, boomers have sort of pushed up and joined millennials as really early adopters of downtown areas and what's going on in them, not just in Fresno, but well beyond that. And so you see a lot of the relocation population in Fresno is boomers, and they are the second largest driver of residential leasing in downtown Fresno and in every city in every downtown in the United States. They are a major driver, and so it's just evidence that you don't need to do it for everybody all at once. You need to decide who is my first actor. And who is my audience? And for us, it was folks looking for opportunity in the technology industry. And when you're doing it right, then there's an opportunity for a follow-on.
Wow, and it is happening downtown. I was there, Art Hop. I was talking to you guys about that, going around, and I was seeing my age group, and you mentioned, the gray hairs are downtown. I'm like, hey, wait a minute. They were going to the jazz concert. He's talking about me. But it is. I am intrigued. I see it happening. Like I said, I was here when Sonder King had the Pacific Southwest building and had an office in there, and I was believing in it 15 years ago, 20 years ago, that it can be, this can come alive. And it takes companies like what you guys are doing with Bitwise Industries. It takes the Fresno Grizzlies staying strong, Tioga, Full Circle, and this whole brewing culture that's moving downtown, too, to create these environments of dispel the myth of is it safe downtown. You guys are downtown all the time. And just anywhere where there's people becomes an issue of safety. But downtown is a pretty safe area, and where we operate, it's 24/7 at Bitwise.
Well, and it's not only there are so many things that are not just sort of exaggerations about downtown, but they're flatly wrong. Downtown has had both the highest reduction in Category 1 crime, violent crime, of any district in Fresno.
Yeah.
And also the lowest instance of Category 1 crime in all of Fresno. So it is literally the safest neighborhood in Fresno. And then beyond that, you'll sit with a banker and you hear, well, real estate doesn't work in downtown Fresno. It just is. It's too much of a risk. Last 10 years in downtown Fresno, point to a failed commercial project, point to a failed residential project.
Yeah,
doesn't exist. You're talking north end of Fresno in that same time period, 40% failure rate. We are in a moment where you can't miss in downtown. The trouble is, and we are sort of the opportunist on the other side of this, is that we need more actors doing it.
Yeah.
And we'll continue to push as hard and as fast as we can. But it is a moment where there is just opportunity everywhere you look in downtown Fresno.
And I hear that all the time. You want supporting actors, as you say. You need supporting people to be there beside you, doing the same thing. Availability of property downtown is becoming very tight now. And I remember 15 years ago you could get any building you wanted. But now it's becoming tighter and tighter because people are believing in downtown.
It is tight, but there's still opportunity. I mean, there's stuff even in South Stadium that is just ripe. There's stuff in, I think Chinatown is 5 years away, but is going to be a huge area. The Fulton Mall is tough, right, because there's a lot of focus on it. It's a lot of competition there. But there's opportunity everywhere you look. And the economics of it really are better than North Fresno.
Irma, we got about a minute, and then we're going to go to break, and we'll be right back for our final segment. But future, because you're a big thinker, and you're excited. You hear Jake, he gets on the pulpit, and he preaches it, and everybody follows. But you really look at where we are in the future. What do you see? What do you see happening in 5 years?
I think what we're attempting to do is create the downtown everybody thinks about in their heads, right? So if you think of your favorite city, almost every time you think of your favorite city, you're picturing it's downtown. And so we're trying to do Fresno's best version of that. And if we want to do that, we need more people. We need to create a density of person in the downtown area in order to create that vision and make it come to life. That's our next step. We've got industry that will support. We've got commercial that will support. Now we need the humans.
What are we missing downtown, Jake? And we just got a few minutes before we wrap this segment, or actually seconds. What are we missing? What do we still need? Those
high density
players.
Residential.
Market
density.
Rate. We need more.
Yes.
And Granville Homes did a great job.
100% leased out.
Leased out, yeah. You can't get a spot. And I know that people are looking at that all the time.
Right.
So we need that. When we come back, we have Jake and Irma with Bitwise Industries. Before we came into this segment, we were talking about the 40 under 40, your former 40 under 40 classmates. And we celebrate every year the 40 under 40 through businessstreetonline.com. Go to 40.com and nominate somebody that needs to be recognized. It's a beautiful night, and a lot of people have a lot of connections that are made there, and a lot of businesses have started up from the 40 under 40. When we come back, Jake and Irma.
Professional boxing at the Valdez Hall next to Cellan Arena, Saturday, September 23rd. The main event featuring Fresno's own Mike Ruiz Jr., ranked 13th by the NABF and NABO, versus Jonathan Torres from Guadalajara, Jalisco, plus 5 more exciting boxing matches. It's all or nothing. Saturday, September 23rd at the Valdez Hall. Doors open at 6 and matches start at 7. Stay tuned to 1680 The Answer for ticket information.
Every day, Poverello House serves 1,600 meals to homeless men and women and families in Fresno County. That's equivalent to one meal for each person at a sold-out Save Mart Center concert. And we've been doing it all with the warehouse and operations center that has seen much better days. Hello, this is Cruz Avila, Executive Director for the Poverello House. Help us raise the roof and fund the construction of a new fully insulated warehouse at Poverello. Together, let's build something that will have a profound impact on our community. Donate today by visiting www.poverellohouse.org or call us at 498-6988.
With Quicken Loans, the outdated and complicated mortgage process is a thing of the past. Our simple process helps you understand all the details so you can be confident that you're getting the right mortgage. Take your mortgage to the next level and call 800-QUICKEN or go completely online with Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. No matter how you prefer to work with us, we've got what you need to get you through the mortgage process with ease. For 7 years in a row now, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction for primary mortgage origination. And for the 3rd year in a row, they also ranked us highest in the nation for mortgage servicing. Whether you're looking to purchase or refinance, now is the time. The rate today on a 30-year fixed-rate mortgage is 3.875%, APR 4.23%. Call 800-QUICKEN or get started online at rocketmortgage.com. Apply simply, understand fully, mortgage confidently.
For J.D. Power award information, visit jdpower.com. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Giving you the inside story of business leaders in the Valley and beyond. This is Business Leaders with Lance Cardoza.
We are wrapping up this exciting show of Business Leaders Live with Jake and Irma with Bitwise Industries. We were talking about during the commercial break the actors, the ones that are down here acting upon what they believe in. Irma, talk about some of those businesses that really impress you, that are out there in the trenches with Bitwise Industries and are making a difference in downtown Fresno.
Yeah, so more than the businesses, I think of the humans that are the driving force behind it, right? So Jake was mentioning over the break, Sam Hansen of the Grizzlies is just doing a phenomenal job with bringing attention to downtown and to what the Grizzlies are doing. I think of folks on our own team who are just, you know, we talk a lot about Bitwise Industries and what we're doing, but it really is, we're at this moment in time where you have the opportunity to get to know the humans behind it. And, you know, I think of Talisha Brantley, who we mentioned earlier, as a superstar and somebody who you're going to want to know. I think of the folks over at Full Circle Brewing. I think of Tioga as well. I think of Teaser. I think of just the people behind the businesses. I think these are the folks you're going to want to know in the next 4 or 5 years, are the ones who are really putting their money and their heart and soul behind what's happening downtown.
The Gorilla Quesadilla, we mentioned them during the commercial. Incredible.
Quesadilla Gorilla, they are a husband and wife team that is just exceptional. And they've got just a wonderful heart. I like the stuff that Jason Wada is trying to do with nonprofits, Diego Arambulo in education. There's some really exciting stuff going on in arts. It sometimes gets missed. You got Chris Sorensen sitting downtown Fresno, who is sort of the godfather of art in Fresno in many circles, and he doesn't get mentioned, but he's got this mecca to art there at the south end of Van Ness. There are so many good things going on, so many people doing exciting things in downtown right now.
Kikyus and Sylvia and her husband, Kikyus,
so
they
good.
were there again before it was cool.
Yeah.
And doing incredible stuff there. And we forget about some of those people that are the pioneers that are hustling all the time, and they stayed strong, and they're still rolling downtown and believing in something that they believed back then. And they're so excited. Sometimes they get emotional. I talk to them, but it's actually happening, and there's things happening down here. I appreciate you, Jake and Irma, being on the show Business Leaders Live. Next week, Tuesday at 9 a.m., we have Dr. Goldsmith, the president of Fresno City College, right here in studio on AM 1680. It's Business Leaders Live. We'll talk to you next week.
This is a public service announcement test from TakeMeFishing.org to determine if you need a fishing license and boat registration before heading out on the water. Let's begin. Are you a bear? Do you have a beak? Does your name rhyme with Ald Beagle? Do you dart in front of cars? Here's a tough one. Do you have plumage? Do you rub your body against things to mark them? Do you have webbed feet? No, I mean like a... where you